Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday evening, and that means Rocket League here at NECC. My name is An Fellow, and joining me once again in the booth, my good buddy, Foof. How you doing tonight, brother?
Man, I'm doing well. I gotta say, it's weird being on this side of the middle of the screen. I'm so excited to not only to be back in NECC, but back and hanging out with you, my friend. We got some Rocket League. Finally, we were wrangling cats known as Collegiate Rocket League players to get 6 of them all together. So finally got that happening. We're here. It's happening.
Herding cats.
Let's go.
So we've got a really nice matchup coming up tonight. First off, we are going to have the Guelph Griffins playing against Trent Excalibur. Guelph being 2-1 on the season, Trent being 2-2. Both of these teams coming off of technically wins. Trent got a 3-0 last week, and Guelph's last week game against U Ottawa was a no report, so that was technically a forfeit win for them. I mean, 2 okay teams, both coming off victories, should be an okay match.
Well, I believe a no report means we don't have a score yet. That's why they're 2-1 right now. Odd.
Oh, fair enough.
You would see.
You know what? You're right. You're right.
So yes, their last reported game, they are coming off of a 3-0 win over OTSU Neum. God, I love their names so much. But we're past them, and we're at the point now where we have a team possibly teetering on dropping below 500, and one, as far as we know, sitting above it at 2-1 here. And so I really was like torn when you have the Guelph Griffins, because GG, it's easy. But then you have Trent Excalibur. Like, that's just too cool of a name to just toss aside. And so I'm wondering which of these two teams can step up first, you know? It's been a bit of time. I'm wondering how much time they've had to warm up and who's going to come out and make that first big play.
Yeah, exactly. And both these teams going to be loading up some decent rosters here. We will try and get rosters set up for you so we have confirmation of exactly who is playing on each side. It sounds like we're not doing that.
Thank you, Voice in the Sky. We do not have the rosters, but we do have Rocket League on. How dare you try to transition? I will walk you back around this bush.
Go to the pitch.
Turn it back around, looking towards, hopefully, 5 minutes being put onto a clock and 6 cars being spawned onto a field. But odd. The Griffins or Excalibur? Not teams, not Rocket League. I'm talking who you got. The Blade or the Mythical Beast?
I mean, at that point, I gotta assume you go with the Blade there, like, because Griffins are cool and all, but they still have the soft, squishy bits that, you know, are soft and squishy. But we do have 5 minutes on the clock, 6 players on the pitch, and players not seeming to... Okay. We're going to get here eventually, folks. We're going to get here eventually. Bear with us. We apologize for the delays.
We were playing Rocket League today. Instead, it's just odd. You know, when were you going to let everyone know that this was the opening episode of our podcast? You know,
I was going to let that be a magical surprise to not let anybody figure out, and they would eventually, you know, just kind of figure it out on their own once we started talking about not Rocket League for a while. So,
you know, we had to
drop that bomb.
I'm so sorry, Odd. I didn't mean to burst the bubble or release the hounds too soon, but you know, as we wrangle players back into a separate lobby once again, my question to you, honest, do you think the first demo in a game sets a tone?
Honestly, I think it does, because it really kind of shows which team is willing to come out and be more physical, and also depending on who gets demoed and the mindset of the teams in general, I think it can have an impact on that as well. Because there's a lot of people that see demoing less as a strategic thing and more of a mind games thing. You know, because there's a ton of people that scream about getting demoed or getting demos all the time and that kind of stuff.
Mental edge.
Exactly. It can sometimes give you a mental edge. But I think the biggest thing is it shows like who's going to be physical, and it really kind of is the turning point of when the game starts to be more physical. And I think that physicality is something that doesn't really get talked about enough in Rocket League, with how important it can be in terms of the overall the overall play of the game, and in terms of really kind of making plays work for teams.
Well, to piggyback off of you, talk about it being physical, it's about not only possibly removing a car from the pitch, but breaking and interrupt rotations, counterattack opportunities, and opening what you see most commonly, a shot or a goal, by removing a defender out of a potential spot to make a save. And so, I hope among hopes, this is me, who was a bigger fella who used to hit people in their younger age. I played football, not like aggressively hit people, folks. It always warms my heart to see not a car go boom, but just a car go from the right side of the screen to the left in the air. They hit just fast enough to launch them to the moon, but not fast enough to destroy them. That warms my heart.
And to your point, you know, getting a good goal line demo or bump is just like having, you know, a really good run block on a football play from an offensive lineman. You know, that's what I see it as all the time. Exactly. Whenever I see somebody driving the ball and then another car go right in front to just remove the defender and just leave an open net, it's like, I remember when I used to do this in front of a guy who was much faster than me. Yeah, but you know, it's just it's one of those things that sometimes you have to come out with the demos and the bumps and that kind of stuff, especially if you get into a point as a team where you notice that the defense has kind of stonewalled. Like every shot that you're making is getting saved, or it's just the way you're pushing your offense just isn't working. Sometimes you do have to come in and remove that third player and just to give yourself some form of advantage. Either that or start passing more. And
just pass, iPad.
Yeah, exactly. But it honestly, getting bumps and demos can sometimes be a little bit easier than getting a good pass, because you can have a misinput that can cause a feels bad flip or any number of issues that can mess up a pass, but it's pretty consistent to be able to get a bump and demo if you know what you're doing.
Well, it's about consistency, not only in possession and playing, but talking about the physicality, but you have to make sure you don't overstep, you don't overreach, either chasing for that demo or looking for the boost to push the play forward. And so, in that precarious spinning plate, what kind of symptoms do you see of a team overreaching when you start to see it tipping further and further away instead of it becoming helpful, but it becomes harmful?
So that's when you're really gonna. Well, I had to think about how I was gonna phrase this. That's when you can really start noticing the holes in the defense, right? Like when somebody is pushing up too far and the defending team gets a big clear and there is nobody on the offense now turned defense to be able to catch it, receive it, do anything with it. That's when you know you're pushed up too far, because if they're able to get it clear into a spot where there is literally nobody, that is great for the defense now offense, because it gets them on offense much faster. It gives them an opportunity to kind of make a decision on what they're going to do. They actually have time to think. And when you're playing Rocket League at a high enough level, you cannot give your opponents time to think. It has to be off of muscle memory, because that's when Rocket League truly becomes a skill-based sport, is how much muscle memory do you have? How good is it? Because once there's time to think, your mechanics don't necessarily come as into play when you actually have time to kind of think out what you're doing and really have a sense of what's going on. So that's where you really kind of want to push things quickly and really try and make things as mechanical as possible, because that's where you can really get a high-level advantage.
I mean, I think any advantage always feels good, but when you can start to expand the game and make your opponent have more and more detractors and you're just collecting, it feels good. It feels good, man. Thumbs up. But you don't want to turtle. You don't want to invite that aggressive stance to try and get them to overstep. You need to find some middle ground of yourself, and that brings us to one of my favorite talking points, and one of yours that you love to harp on, midfield control. It's about going to the trenches, making that midfield stripe yours, and being able to advance forward, but still have the wherewithal and the rotations to answer at midfield and not just, go forward.
Exactly, and that honestly is kind of where normally when I talk about Rocket League, I say Rocket League plays a lot more like hockey than it does soccer, even though it looks more like soccer. The midfield control is really the only aspect of soccer itself that Rocket League has in it. Obviously, having midline control in hockey is here. It's much more pivotal in soccer, and because it really kind of shows who's got control, who's going to be making the big. So is important in Rocket League, because once you have that midfield control, you can shut down passing plays. You can keep clears from being big booming clears and turn offense right back around onto, you can stay on offense a lot easier if you have that midfield control, because those big clears to pass or, opponents trying to get the ball away aren't necessarily going to make it far enough for them to get their own offense going, because you're right there to turn it right back around. And the more you can keep them on the back tires on defense, the more likely you are to eventually score, because the more you hammer at the net, eventually it's going to work out in your favor, as long as your rotations are good. Because as soon as you get too over aggressive on offense and mess up a rotation, that's when the big clear comes and the opponent gets the fast break, and it can end up being a 1-0 game in favor of the team that had the ball for 30 seconds as opposed to the team that had the ball for 4.5 minutes and didn't score anything.
I think it's all about quality or quantity sometimes, but if you give up too many opportunities, at some point in time, that door's going to get broken down. And so it's an ebb and a flow, and much like we see here at the Aquadome, it's very much like a wave, going forward and then coming back. A good offense knows when to push forward and have that power, be able to withdraw back to midfield to gather resources. All right, this is something I will die upon. This is the hill I will stand and die upon, all right? Rocket League is a resource management game, Oddfellow. It's about boost management, it's about position management, and it's about ball possession management. It's resources.
Exactly, and a lot of people talk about boost management and boost stealing and all this other kind of stuff. And game. We have players on the pitch. There's car soccer happening. There's sport happening.
I really wanted to do the go for the first. We don't have scores or over there. It is. I really thought about going for the first 45 seconds of just caveman. Car, ball, goal,
ball,
not.
car, ball, car, touch.
Yes. A demo.
As we're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, don't let your eyes
Inflatrix on you. Yes, this is the Guelph Griffins red in blue. We have Trent Excalibur in the orange as Bison Charge trying to make a shot near post, but is turned away by this Griffin defense. And so, the feeling out process has certainly started for both of these teams, and it's a moment where they kind of dance back and forth, trade possessions, kind of move around, and see what the other team wants to show.
Yep, and as we're going to try, I'm going to try and give you some roster updates as we go here. As of right now, we've got Power Doge, Bison Charge, and Crazy Russian on the pitch for Trent Excalibur. That is going to be Frostbeard is one of the Guelph Griffins on the pitch there. It looked like we're going to have Mr. Wonka as well, and then just kind of waiting for that third player to show up. But as of right now, lots of back and forth kind of happening. Not surprised to see that because it was kind of a rough actual start to the game. So don't be surprised to see this game one look kind of weird.
Equal footing. All right, no one came into this game warm. They didn't get their preferred server. They had to go mix them all around. So right now I'm wondering who can find an angle first. And right now, as I come back to that phrase, it's coming back to the offensive end for the Griffins. It's just pushing on the backboard, wanting to find something, anything perhaps. Wonka can't find a touch, and now Bison Charge living up to the name, going to flip the pitch here, but it's all about control. Wonka opting to push it off his own backboard. Another shot attempt, but this one turned away, not by the defender, but instead of an errant shot.
And so that clear to pass there from Chainlink was a good idea, but he just didn't. He put too much on it and ended up overshooting his teammate on the pass and kind of giving possession right back to Excalibur. And I think that's going to be one of the big things to pay attention to here is how often does possession change unintentionally as the demos are coming out like crazy so far here on the pitch. Frostbeard not able to get that one past the defender. Mr. Wonka trying to get this one out of his side of the pitch. Chainlink trying to catch this one, taking it up towards the right side wall. Frostbeard going to opt to go mid. That is going to be sent away by Crazy Russian, but Frostbeard is right there. So still, this back and forth Power Doge on the back wall does get the save away as the Griffins still not able to get too much offense going here.
Well, neither team has a lot of offense right now, and both teams in this precarious position of not wanting to make a mistake first. Wonka elected to let a teammate go for it, but no harm, no foul. Power Doge waiting for it in midfield with Frostbeard shutting it back down the corner. Chainlink slow to this one, so Crazy Russian given free real estate in the pass, but the defense slapsticking into action. Another shot attempt, Russian going near post, and that one sneaks past the defender, and Trent Excalibur find first blood.
And this is what I was talking about keeping the offense constantly rotating and just constantly keeping the pressure on the defense, because eventually you're going to force defensive mistakes, just like what we saw out of Frostbeard there. He was trying to clear it away, but ended up not getting his car at the right angle, and it ended up resulting in an own goal off the shot from Crazy Russian. So Trent Excalibur going to have the 1-0 lead here with 2 minutes left to play, and they already are back on offense, but it does get sent away temporarily by Frostbeard.
Rarely. Right now, that's an aggressive push here from Crazy Russian, finding another angle, and again, this is a near post shot that makes the mark happen. 2-0 here for Trent Excalibur.
Now, this kind of aggression works in this situation when you know you've kind of got the defense on the back foot, but they do have to be careful about when they make those offensive pushes, because it's like I was talking about before we got started here. As soon as the defense keys in on the offense overcommitting like that, that's when they're going to start really trying to push the clears to pass. That's when they're really going to try and start getting some fast break goals. Frostbeard was barely not able to connect with it, but Chainlink was able to get his shot to go in anyways, and so after 3 minutes of nothing happening, we've had 3 goals scored across both teams here.
And 2 of them have come off of defenders. This one, again, you have to find a touch there. It goes in either way. And so Guelph, at the moment, it looked like they were down, but they are certainly not out. Finding one, trying to find an equalizer right now. And Power Doge living up to the name, and that goes off another defender. Guys, I know the Guelph Griffins are in red and you're wearing blue, but that's not your goal.
Well, and this is just an unfortunate touch from Chainlink, because I see what he's trying to do there. He's trying to get that flick and send it away, and ends up getting the ball just too far forward on his car, and all he does is send it forward with more speed. So I like that was a great example of good thought process, poor execution on the side of Guelph Griffins there, as we've got just under 90 seconds left to play here, and Trent Excalibur are not taking their foot off the gas here as they're trying to keep this lead going here in Game 1.
3-1 the scoreline right now, and Excalibur feeling good. Perhaps removing the sword from the stone right now as Frostbeard has an angle, has a shot, and has a goal to their name. 2-3 on the scorecard.
And this was a great offensive challenge here from Frostbeard. He timed us beautifully, getting up and getting that touch just before the defender was able to bump him away, saw the open net, and got enough power on it to keep the backfield defender from being able to get back and make the save. So 67 seconds left to play here, and it keeps being a 2-goal lead and then a 1-goal lead, and the Guelph Griffins are not going quietly into this good night here in Game 1.
Oh, it's like the good dawn. There's a lot of time left in this series. Even if they end up going down, Crazy Russian finding an ankle, has the pass, but they don't have the shot. Now Frostbeard trying to set up a pass midfield, now finding a second touch. Wonka opting to go for a backboard play. Cleared out by Russian and wanting to find a second touch here. Gets it over one, has an up boost to carry. He's got it over all of them. Crazy Russian again, 4-2.
Oh my goodness, what a solo play coming out of Crazy Russian to put the 2-goal lead back on top here for Trent Excalibur. Gets a beautiful touch past one defender and then gets just enough power on his air dribble to get it over the last man. 37 seconds left to play. We're back at a 2-goal lead. Technically still possible here for the Guelph Griffins. We've seen them score very quickly, but are they going to be able to score quickly enough? But what a touch from Mr. Wonka, but it does get saved away by Chainlink.
Well, you got to be careful here. They're still on the defensive side for now, and he sees the angle but can't seize the moment. Frostbeard up and over one. There's no one back. They need to push now, but no one following up this flick means no goal to be scored. Trent Excalibur up a pair, just needs to hold on for 12 more seconds. Another shot attempt with this one. Not finding the mark. The clock continuing to tick down. Chainlink can't find it. A 50 puts it away, and that means this Game 1 is put away as Trent Excalibur take Game 1.
And again, the whole start to this first Game 1 was a little bit chalked, so I would not be surprised to see Guelph Griffins come back with a lot more steam in Game 2. Like, that Game 1 is one that you have to just kind of sit there if you're Guelph and go, crumple it up, throw it away, forget about it, that didn't happen. So many different things went wrong. However, one thing they can fix that I did notice was a major issue was just throwing possession away. Like, they were just so focused on getting the ball out of their side of the pitch that they were just kind of just sending it away and not really caring where it ended up, and that gave possession right back to Trent frequently.
Well, the big thing you have to mark is that a certain player went 3 for 5. As Crazy Russian had 5 of the 7 shots on Trent Excalibur. Made the marks happen, was able to make the angles work, and even though when he didn't score on 2 of those shots, it still opened up opportunities for his teammates to push forward. And that is 3 assists coming, 2 from Power Dog and 1 from Bison Charge. Everyone operating on Trent's side on the offensive end.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they need to keep going through the rest of the series. Like, that was something that definitely gave them an advantage here, because I think that if their team play wasn't as solid as it was, Guelph definitely could have come back or at least made it closer than it was.
They tried.
They definitely did, but it was because of that just incredible team chemistry and team play that we saw out of Trent that they were able to just keep that offense rolling, keep the pressure going, and the ball constantly in the back of the net. So they definitely have to keep that up, but they do need to be careful on some of the overcommits, because it did look like they were getting a little bit too careless on some of their offensive pushes. Dudes being pushed up a little bit too far. It worked out for them a couple of times. Obviously, that second goal from Crazy Russian being a great example of it. However, they do need to kind of be careful of that, because if Guelph does actually make the change that they need to in terms of throwing possession away, then they definitely can cause some problems for Trent if they're overcommitting like that.
Well, it's about finding your opponents when they've overreached. Perhaps even having that reach of a long sword can open you up for counterattacks, especially when you have wings and talons. But mascots aside, it's all about creating your own opportunities, and that is what Guelph didn't do. Only 3 shots, 2 of them go in, so going 2 for 3 is an incredible amount of 66%. Like, if you shoot 66% in a Rocket League game, usually you win. But you only had 3 shots, so when you give up 7 in retaliatory, that's not a sustainable offense. It's not a sustainable defense, and it's how you find yourself down 1-0 in a series.
Yep, and we are jumping into this one with 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, missing a little bit of the start of it, but no score just yet, so we haven't really missed much of anything. But this already, just in the first couple of seconds here, is looking like a much faster offense on the side of Guelph Griffins.
Fast offense right now, but neither team cashing in before this 90 and now 100-second mark. Chainlink putting a touch back towards this midfield. Turned by none other than Crazy Russian, credited with the first shot that we have seen. Frostbeard saving that one. Now cleared back the opposite way. Chainlink up forward, but he's only going to push it off the wall, not far enough to create good offense here. Double committing from the defensive side means it's all up to Ninja to flip the field. Frostbeard off the backboard here, but not a lot cooking as they just retreat.
Offense trying to get going here. Chainlink had a chance, but Ninja is able to save that one away, but the shot coming back in from Frostbeard, and the defender is not able to get there. The Griffins putting the first score on the board.
And again, it goes off a defender diving to make a save. Crazy Russian is cursed to find the net almost every time he touches it, but it was his net that time to make it 1-0 here for the Guelph Griffins.
That's a great start for the Griffins as well. Like, when you come off of a Game 1 loss, you have to be the first score in Game 2. Ninja was trying to immediately tie it up, but unfortunately was not able to connect with the touch. That was a great offensive 50 there by Excalibur as Frostbeard's trying to clear this one out of his corner. Not able to do so. Russian has a shot, but Wonka does save it away. Chainlink into the corner. Oh, but Mr. Wonka touches it right back in front of the net. That's a little bit of a miscue there from the Griffins, but Trent Excalibur not able to capitalize so far as Wonka is able to take that one off the right side wall.
Frostbeard lose control. Russian back to midfield, wanting to flip the pitch, stay behind it. Mr. Wonka and a teammate both in the corner here. Chainlink retreating, going to set up his opposition. Well, it's a miss in front of the net, but the third stays home on the defensive side for Trent Excalibur. A golden moment turned almost awry as the counterattack. It shouldn't have been there, but the door was opened by the lack of a third man on offense. Another pass midfield, the shot coming through, and guess who is Crazy Russian finds another.
And that is that offensive pressure that Trent have been showing all series so far. Great pass from Ninja. Great positioning there from Crazy Russian to be close enough up to just immediately get that shot off before the defenders even had a chance to realize where the ball was at. So tied game here with looks like about a little over a minute and a half left to play here. I was trying to do some quick math and my brain could not do it. Thank you, 105. And my brain was not doing that quick math. As Frostbeard tries to clear this one away. Still looking like a little bit of, like, kind of just throwing possession away by the Griffins, but it definitely at least looks like they're trying to get it in the position of a teammate, as that almost was a goal there from Frostbeard. Chainlink almost getting an own goal, but does put it into his corner.
Well, that would have been the second touch from Chainlink at midfield going back towards his own net. And so it's just like, we have to break the streak because we've seen one every game so far. We've seen one of each from the first game. One going against Trent Excalibur here, coming off their nose, though that one was going in either way. I just hope both of these teams can clean up the defensive side. I feel like defense itself, I don't know why I phrased it such a way, but defense in itself is always pictured as a very emotional state and an emotional being. And if you can find the wherewithal to just breathe on the defensive side and be in communication, know where your team is, it helps you out so much. And I feel like both of these teams thrive on defense. Like, they are excited, they want to play it, and they want to find steals, but if it gets tight, they get a little bit too close, they start to sweat, they start to choke up a little bit, they start to double commit. And so let's open the door as these teams race back and forth, and it's just become a clearing match right now. A bit of a tennis game, back and forth.
And I do think communication might need to be cleaned up a little bit by Trent, because Ninja actually had an open net there, and he opted to go for the pass. It almost looked like he wasn't 100% sure where the Griffins defenders were and didn't realize that he might have had a chance at an open net there, which is why he was trying to pass in front and ended up resulting in nothing. As the final 5 seconds starting to tick down now, Frostbeard looking for the pass to Mr. Wonka, gets it past one. Wonka not able to get it as Crazy Russian puts himself between the ball and the net, and we are going to go to overtime here in Game 2, Foof.
OT in game number 2. And right now, we're wondering to see who can find a way to break this tie. This Crazy Russian staying in front of here has been the flag runner for Trent Excalibur. There's 2 players back. Chainlink opting for a flick, but kind of forgetting the most important part, the ball, as that got stayed behind. Wonka, sideboard touch here, just wanting to clear it out. Chainlink, into the corner we go, cleared back towards this midfield line, and again, the midfield defense stepping up. A pinch off the backboard from Power Doge, but nothing found.
And I liked what Power Doge was going for there, because that was on target. It just was a little bit, I think, harder than I think he was even expecting, because that could have had a chance to float in and it ended up finding the backboard anyways. Chainlink now off the wall, looking for the double potentially, but not enough boost. But Frostbeard is there. No defenders in net for Trent Excalibur. Guelph Griffins tie the series 1 apiece.
Well, we harped on it a little bit earlier, starting to step too far forward, caught with their hands in the cookie jar, and Guelph Griffins taking full advantage of it to make it 2-1 and tie this series up 1 apiece.
And that is exactly what they needed to do off of a game 1 loss. I say this a lot, but like when you come off a game 1 loss, obviously the first thing that you want to do is get a game 2 win, but especially in a best of 5 series, when going down 2-0 immediately puts you on match point. So now both teams still have at least one more game to kind of play around with before they start getting into any kind of trouble. And I feel like they're still trying to figure each other out a little bit, but there are a lot of just booming clears and just get the ball off my side of the pitch that aren't really going anywhere. And both teams are kind of doing that at this point. So they need to clean up. Both teams need to start cleaning up defense, and they need to start cleaning up those defensive to offensive transitions specifically. And then I really think we're going to start seeing a lot more intense Rocket League start getting played.
And to piggyback off of it, offense doesn't start on the offensive end of the field. It doesn't start in that offensive third. It doesn't start at midfield. It starts with your defense taking the ball. And so a lot of times what you'll see really good teams do is, instead of clearing on the first touch, find pass to clears, because it opens up the... Maybe you get a quick shot. Maybe you get a transitional play where it becomes a 1-2 to 3 or a 1-2-1, which is my favorite, honestly. But it just opens the door. And right now, we've seen the door thrown open here by Guelph. You talk about it. They're not down 2-0. They've tied the series up and breathe a sigh of relief that they're not forced right into game point. Is Crazy Russian timed Power Doge up, but I don't think he was ready for that one.
One thing that I've noticed off the first couple touches here from Trent, and now that I think back on it, I was noticing it in game 2 as well, is Trent isn't like it. They're trying so hard to keep the offense going that they're losing control of the ball early. Like the way that they're making their touches and the way they're trying to get their offense going is in such a way that it's literally just giving it right back to the defense. But Crazy Russian with the redirect, tried to put it on there off a beautiful pass, but fantastic defense from Frostbeard off the crossbar. Now here comes Frost trying to put it into the net himself, but does get saved away by Power Doge. Wonka now off the backboard, but a beautiful clear from Doge puts it right back at the midfield. The Griffins seem to have planted a flag there at that midfield line and are not letting anything cross.
Oh, what a touch here from Frostbeard, but the Doomsy not finding the mark. Chainlink finds a back pass, and again, this car is looking towards the blue net time and time again. Trent Excalibur pass off the backboard. Lo-Fi dishing it down midfield, but he can't get it to fall. Crazy Russian putting more pressure on, but no shot found. Frostbeard, this one's going to be credit. He's got to find far post, and that's 2 defenders in the way for now. Finding a bump as well. Chainlink needs a soft touch to do it, but the post not wanting to work with him.
And Frostbeard just barely able to get back and get that clear away, or at least attempt to get the clear away as Trent Excalibur is trying to get their offense going. Finally, Frost is able to get the clear, trying to maintain control here, but does get sent away by Lo-Fi in the corner. Chainlink back into the corner, gets sent away by Power Doge. Lo-Fi towards the left side wall here where Frostbeard is going to be waiting, sending it right towards the Excalibur side of the net, but great patience there from Power Doge. Gets it over the top of one, gets a 50 over the second one, but too much to be able to follow up. So now Crazy Russian has a chance to get the offense going as Chainlink gets a demo onto Lo-Fi, and it's going to be a 3v2 in favor of Griffins, but oh my goodness, Frost not quite able to capitalize on it.
So I have a question, Otto. I want to harken back to this. I'm sorry, I can't let it fall just yet. What side is the Excalibur side of the net? Is that the right side or is the left side? Because they're defending the Excalibur side. I want to know, because that's an awesome call. I would love to stay on.
I meant side of the pitch.
I know. Yeah, I just want to call the right or left side. The Excalibur side is perhaps. They looked for one of their own, trying to claim this defensive net. This Lo-Fi turns away. Another touch here from guess who? Crazy Russian. He's going to find the second touch. He's going to put it under the defense. They went high. He goes low, 1-0.
And this is such an intelligent touch here from Crazy Russian. Sees how the ball is going down and decides to get it at its lowest point instead of its highest point and put it down below both defenders who were expecting him to just kind of bop it right in and try and slot it underneath the crossbar. So fantastic play there from Crazy Russian to give his team the 1-0 lead with under half the game left to play.
It's another opportunity arising. Crazy Russian. Something happened in midfield. Lo-Fi touch. There's Mr. Wonka, double clean on the defensive side, leaves an open net. Power Doge is going to be kicking themselves after that one, as it couldn't have been much more greenlit than that. Trent Excalibur in a dangerous spot here. Is now the pass to clear starting to find fruition. The 1-2-1. Lo-Fi credited with this touch. Going to get a center here, but not much more as Frostbeard collects and flicks back over.
And it was a great flick, but great patience from Crazy Russian as well to just kind of sit in front of the net and just let it kind of come to him. As that's going to be a whiff that goes in favor of Power Doge, who clears it away. Frostbeard getting an unfortunate touch, and there's a chance. Oh my goodness, that was a chance for a second goal there from Trent Excalibur, but unfortunately not able to put the shot on target. Lo-Fi sending this towards the left side of the pitch now. Frostbeard going up early, trying to beat the offense to it, and did get the touch, and it finally gets sent away here by Wonka, but nobody from the Griffins there to clean up the clear, so Power Doge has a chance, tries to drop it down, but just barely hits it with the wrong angle on his car.
Power Doge just trying to rough his fan base up a little bit. You've had the open net, had the near post, and then goes for a double tap to try and style on it further. Now stolen here by Frostbeard. Again, it's only a 1-goal advantage. It could swing easily back and forth. Wonka, far post, but a bit too far. Chainlink has a pass. Wonka still in the aggressive push, still waiting to find this angle. Chainlink cutting instead. Only 28 boost in that car. Wonka, midfield play, got up and over his Crazy Russia, and that continues to kill the clock. Power Doge running to it here, but no boost means it's a demoed car. And now 30 seconds left here for Guelph to find an answer.
Oh, what a touch from Chainlink, but Power Doge with the spawn is able to get there. That was the luckiest spawn I think I have ever seen. If he spawns on the other side of the net, that's 100% a goal for the Griffins. But Trent Excalibur now with control with 10 seconds left, tried to get the nail in the coffin goal there, and now the Griffins have a chance with the waning
what a
seconds.
touch!
Shot up from Frostbeard, but it goes off the crossbar. Oh no, the fourth man coming in clutch for Trent there, as we're now at 0-second territory. Chainlink putting it off the ceiling
It's
and
still
keeping
up.
it alive. Still gonna keep this one alive is Chainlink. Frostbeard now with a chance towards the left side wall.
Oh, it's a shot going for Power Doge, but again, this one turns away. Crazy Russian backward play. They just want to let it drop, but this stays alive.
Oh.
But Trent staying alive as well, making it 2-1 in the series, making themselves a match point here as they push forward.
And that was a much better played game from both teams there in terms of defensive and offensive pass to clears. The biggest improvement that I saw in that game was actually from Frostbeard. He was constantly just trying to get back on defense on third and was really just letting his teammates play that offense and just kind of be like, hey, you guys do what you need to do. I'll make sure that I'm always the guy getting back. It did kind of bite them in the rear a couple of times when it comes to keeping offense going, but there's a point in the games where it's okay to sacrifice your offense in terms of better defense. Now, once it gets later
More
in the
spear,
game,
less shield.
Exactly. There is a point late in the game where, especially if you haven't scored yet, you do kind of need to get out of that mindset, especially if you're already down. Because the worst thing that happens is you just go even more down, and if you're going to lose anyways, you just may as well just send it. So I'd like to see them get a little bit more aggressive after the second half of the or into the second half of the game. But at least for the first half of the game, the way that Frostbeard was playing that was fantastic. I just would like to see a little bit more turnaround from the defense to offense.
Well, again, we harked on it. It starts from the first touch. It's controlling into a pass instead of just a clear. Excalibur, they haven't cleaned it up perfectly, but, I just like to say the painting's starting to come together. If you squint at it, you can kind of see that, oh, okay, that's a tree, and that's a waterfall. Where, well, they've got blue, they've got green up there. They're feeling good right now, but they need to feel great. Down 2-1 in this series, and need to find an equalizer here and force Game 5.
I like the zero boost push I was seeing from Chainlink there, and so far it's worked in keeping the offense in favor of the Griffins here in the first 30 seconds, but finally a clear coming in from Power Doge as Frostbeard is going to collect this one in the corner. Does end up being a little bit awkward, so Lo-Fi is going to have a chance to try and center this for a teammate. Mr. Wonka missing his touch. Chainlink having to go up and defend. This could be an opportunity here for Trent Excalibur, but they're going to opt to play a little bit more passively here, which is interesting to me because I feel like with match point, they'd be wanting to play a lot more aggressive and try and shut this down and not allow us to go to a Game 5.
Well, we saw all the aggression in Game 1. After it's been kind of tapered down, where they've looked for opportunities and tried to make their own, but they are falling a bit short on this offensive side. They are very reliant on either a corner touch or just slamming it off the backboard. I want to see a little bit more infield passing as we try to see one to Frostbeard, but it's intercepted by Lo-Fi. Lo-Fi again finding a backboard pass. That one is one of the prettier balls I've seen all day, but the lone Excalibur player might be left out to dry. Frostbeard, no double tap coming through, and he's the lone player for the Griffins.
3.5 minutes left to play here. Sorry, my brain completely shut off for a second there as we're trying to get some offense going here for Trent Excalibur. The Griffins fighting to get this ball out of their side of the pitch, but Excalibur swinging hard and fast as they are just barely not able to get any shots on here. But here comes Lo-Fi trying to slow it down, but that's going to be the crossbar. Double? Okay. And it works in
teamwork.
Exactly. Teamwork making the dream work there, as both players from Trent Excalibur having the exact same idea, trying to go up, and Power Doge gets there first, drops it down. 3 minutes left to play. Trent Excalibur up by 1.
Get you a crazy support Russian. Here's one. Upside down, hit fall in, good, goal! Trent Excalibur finds one off of the moral support as Doge finds one looking for a second, but up too early. Cleared back away. Lo-Fi, side wall touch here, over chain link, survives the demo attempt. Frostbeard looking for that cheating player, but cannot find the mark. Frostbeard, again, called his name a lot. That bright green Octane making a lot of big plays happen. But right now they need to find one more big one in the redirect attempt again by that same name. Can't get it to fall. All 3 players rotating back on the defensive side. Wonka caught up in the air. Lo-Fi, the lone man, wanting to make it work here. Not a lot falling. Frostbeard, back up we go. Finding themselves in a familiar spot, down 0-1.
And Power Doge just clearing that one away. Now, situations like this, when you're up 1-0, it's okay to get those big booming clears and not necessarily look for the clears to pass, as that was an opportunity there for Trent Excalibur, but the shot ringing wide off the left crossbar. As the Griffins are now trying to get their own offense going here. Chainlink not quite able to get the 50, but Wonka is right there behind him, only just to get his shot sent away by Crazy Russian. Frostbeard trying to center this up for a teammate that has a chance, but what a save coming out of Power Doge. The offense still in the favor of the Griffins here, but their offensive rotations are starting to get just a little bit askew, and that is going to immediately lead to a turnaround here from Crazy Russian.
Rotations are skewed. Eggs are being broken there. It's just a mad dash all around. Frostbeard wanting to find infield pass. They might have to stream on. They might be listening, perhaps, Odd. It's possible. Infield passes from both of these teams now. And so maybe just perhaps finding a different approach towards the goal. But not a lot falling here. It's, again, Trent Excalibur just surviving with a 1-goal advantage. That's all they will need, though, as they are at match point. And Guelph need an answer. Only 66 seconds left, and so kind of now, I mean, no, you have a ton of time, but I want to see them step up and try and win this thing, not just tie it.
And I love that pass opportunity there from the Griffins, but unfortunately nobody was on the left side of the pitch to collect it, as Chainlink's going to fire that one off the backboard, gets the demo, opens it wide. What a save. I believe that was one of the defenders was able to get a hand on that shot off of Wonka, and Crazy Russian saving this one off of his goal line, and that was an incredibly smart touch from Crazy Russian there. Instead of trying to pinch it off the wall, he pops it up high because he knows that the offensive player is pushing on that to try and keep the shot going. As this has a chance here with 30 seconds left to play, Chainlink going over the top of the net, but no score yet for the Griffins.
Well, Frostbeard and company had the passes looking really good, but the shots were only thing falling for them. Now, back at midfield, Power Doge putting clear on, has the 1 goal of this game. Could be the golden goal of the match. That's a miss. That's an open net. Frostbeard running to it here. That's a pass. He's looking for Chainlink, but Chainlink wasn't looking. He went for boost. And Team Excalibur take it 3-1 off of a breakdown in communication.
And honestly, I think it's less of a breakdown in communication and more of just an incredibly heads-up defensive play from Power Doge, because Chainlink actually had a chance to still get that redirect in there, but Power Doge was right there on him immediately. I bet you he had no boost.
Little pads!
You don't need to have boost for that particular shot. That particular shot he was going for, he could have made without it. I'm giving that play to Power Doge for being a good defender there.
I will say Power Doge was in a good spot, but you're not in a good spot if you rotate on little pads and you survive and you're not going away from the play with 2 seconds. I'm upset. I'm fine.
You're good.
You're good.
You should be.
But, wow, 3-1, and it ends like that. I think 4 own goals. There were many times that we've seen touches back towards the own net, and so a lot of things for both of these teams to clean up. But man, Frostbeard knocking on the door, starting to step up and play more and more aggressive, and finding passes was gorgeous here in game number 4. But then you look on the flip side. They could not contest with Crazy Russian, who did calm down in the later stages, but his team was able to elevate themselves up and get across the finish line.
The biggest thing that I noticed there was that there was a very defensive-heavy game on both sides. Both teams looked like they were struggling a little bit on offense, specifically with the defensive to offensive rotations. Like, both teams were having issues with that, and I think that that's something that they can both look at going into week 6. As I had to think about what week we're in. Going into week 6 and kind of reviewing this is look at what did we do wrong on the offensive defensive rotations. And both teams need to do this. It's not just the team that lost. Both teams need to do this.
Yeah.
And really kind of see what they can figure out with that. Midfield. I never saw midfield control once from either team.
Midfield control was incredibly consistent by being inconsistent, Odd.
Correct.
That is my assessment of the game. It was a tug of war through and through. And you know the unmentioned cartoon show where he goes, "Now let him have it." Okay, you can have it. That's what it felt like at midfield at times for the boost control for the 50s in the air trying to stop those touches. And so when it was a long, clear game, neither team could get up to answer at midfield. And then there was a time where they both put the clamps on. It just felt like two teams just standing there looking at each other.
Yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong. Fantastic on-pitch effort from both teams. There's definitely things that can be cleaned up, and now is the time when that needs to happen.
We see them.
Exactly. The diamonds are in the rough. We just now have to clean the rough out.
Yes.
And we have to trim the rough. We're at the point in the season now where you have to start noticing these things and have to make these changes if you want to have a chance at the postseason.
Well, having a chance at the postseason is important, but you know what's also important? Having a chance to look forward, as we still got some more Rocket League along the way. Odd. Gotta say, as always, been a pleasure, my friend, but we're going to be taking a short break, and then after that, we'll be back with more NECC Week 6 Rocket League action. See you soon.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another night of Rocket League here. We're about to go into this. Off to your right there, you'll see my co-caster. It's Captain Ahsoka coming in off of a wonderful day. On our right-hand side, we've also got some beautiful Rocket League to finish out the night here. Starting off from the beginning here in stream number 2, New England Tech Tigers coming up against the University of Hartford Red Team.
Well, I do have to tell you, mate, that I'm actually extraordinarily thrilled to get into this matchup. I honestly cannot wait to get into this one, bro. Honestly, this is going to be a fantastic match of a magnificent magnitude, and I cannot wait to get into this one on the way. Of course, we're going to have two unis going head-to-head on their respective teams to try and come out on top and establish once and for all who, in fact, is the better team and the better university.
So you're kind of going between Australia and England, and I love it.
I'm
here for it. I'm here for it. You bought into it.
I'm kind of like just following you a little bit.
I love it.
I don't know. I have no idea where I'm going. I'm just here now.
I mean, it's fantastic. I love the energy. You matched it. We're here. We've got some wonderful Rocket League to close out the night. 2 series for you here. We got a team coming in 2-2 so far here in our season. We've got a no report from week number 5 for the New England Tech Tigers. So they're sitting on 2-2 here in week number 6 of the NECC. We're in the Challengers North Atlantic division here. So we're going to take a look at Chemikiller, Krill, and Rurch coming in for them. And on the other side, Hartford, University of Hartford Red, also coming out of the Challengers North Atlantic, coming in on 2-3. They've had, some up and down results. They've taken a 3-1 victory going up against Farmingdale State. They also had a rather surprising loss to Fairfield University, somebody that I've casted over in the EGF quite a bit in the Big East. They lost to them 1-3, so that team is definitely on the up and rise here in the NECC here for this season. And as we take a look, computer science, physics, and accounting. So some senior leadership here available. Captain Ahsoka for Hartford Red, the Challengers squad here for University of Hartford. They're going to be looking to come out here and get themselves to 500 on the season.
Well, let's see on how both of these teams are going to stack up against one another as we get ready to head into the field for a game number 1 before we get this one underway. Meanwhile, you got to keep in mind that it is going to be quite the senior team coming out from the University of Hartford. So they got 2 seniors to their name, so they should be bringing a wee bit more of experience, I would think, in the long run. But at the same time, in terms of Rocket League, it really doesn't matter. What really matters is the hours you put in. That's where the experience comes into play. So as long as you're getting those hours, then you should have a slight advantage. So as we get ready to head into game number 1, what will you be looking out for? Who maybe do you think is going to pop off here?
Well, I mean, looking at these 2 teams, I haven't had a chance to look at either team on stream. I tried to look through some VODs and see if they had been covered before. I haven't found anything as of yet. But I think that really it's going to come down to who controls midfield, the midfield line, as well as the mega boost there from side to side. I think, who's going to be willing to commit to 50s, both ground-based and aerial combat as well. The other thing that I'm looking at is what kind of formation are we going to be running with? Are we going to be running with the EU special, which is the 1-1-1 stack? Or are we going to go more NA here with a 2-man front rotation and a holding what I call a center defender? That will sometimes insert themselves into the offense if it's advantageous for them, or are they going to be kind of directing the traffic from the back and then keeping balls out of the back of their net? So, I've seen a lot of these 2 compositions. I've also seen like a 1-2 composition where we've had just a single person moving forward, and then you've kind of got a spaced out back line where you've got one really dedicated third man, and then the second player will kind of float more defensively, looking for the midfield challenges, looking to spring their number 1 player forward. So it'll really come down to how these 2 teams really want to push themselves forward to this. And good luck, have fun to everybody out in chat. Early shot.
Oh yeah, very early, but luckily for the side of Hartford Red, They had a player back there and ready to get the save. And yet another one going to Spy. That's 2 back-to-back saves coming from them in the favor of the University of Hartford. Meanwhile, you can see New England Tech trying to push the issue there at the midfield line, as now they are going to have to come through and play a little defense.
Well, that's a nice little touch there from Wavy, going up high, pulling a little resources out of the back van there. And we'll see, what kind of ping pong we've got going on here. It's going back and forth so far. No real clearly delineated possession so far. I want to see them slow down just a little bit here in the early game, get that possession up, and see what they can build off the back of it. Right now, it's just a little bit of a bouncy ball going through forward. Hit a shot! It's SM Jesus. What a shot off of the crossbar. Crossbar challenge already done and dusted here, 53 seconds in.
Yeah, and then we saw Krills there, getting into the back line, kind of causing a ruckus, not necessarily connecting with anybody physically, but still, having that threat there, keeping the net open just long enough in order for the shot to come through. And now New England Tech Tigers are going to enjoy a 1-goal lead here after the first minute of regulation.
Well, that's a great way to start off your series. And, New England Tech coming in here with the 2-2 record. So, we'll see how they're going to go push forward. Nice little carry from Astro there. Haven't called their name yet in this series. And had a nice little look towards the goal. Coming back into defense is Wavy getting the demolition. So, a little bit of a power play here for New England or for Hartford. They have to push away a shot, though, even down a man.
Oh, absolutely, and I love the control right now coming from New England Tech. They are really being able to control a lot of this midfield presence and, again, find each other on these pass plays. Even though that the shots aren't going into the back of the net, at least they're making the plays, at least the attempts are there, and the shot count is continuing to rise for New England Tech, as now it could be an opportunity here for the University of Hartford, but it gets deflected.
Spy was very Johnny on the spot there. Get a little bit of a self-flicking, gets over the defense, but here's a dunk opportunity. And we see Krills just not being able to get on the back of it. But that's a low, really bad touch there coming out from Hartford and almost led to a goal.
Yeah, speaking of, how about that pinch right there? That almost led to a goal. But luckily for the side of Hartford, that one was just off target. And right now, New England Tech not letting up on this aggression, as they have literally begun to have a stranglehold onto Hartford until finally they were able to break out of their own half.
We're approaching halftime right now, and shots are pretty much going in favor of New England Tech. We've seen a couple of opportunities for Hartford Red to get themselves forward into this offensive third, but they're kind of bunching up in the corner. They're playing a little bit of what I call puppy ball, where everybody chases the ball and tries to get a touch on it, and then nobody's available for some kind of outlet or secondary touch.
Well, you can see Wavy trying to get that initial touch, not able to get the follow-up. This one is going to go off the backboard and miss from Astro. And now here comes the shot on, but it doesn't go in. SM Jesus tried to take another attempt there, but the defense from Hartford will hold strong, keeping us here at 1-0.
Well, it's going to have to come down to a little bit more physicality coming out from Hartford. They're just letting the ball roam right now. They're not going into these 50s very convincingly. They don't have the. I don't think they have the belief going on right now. Maybe just some early game jitters. Shot denied there. What a carry! What a shot from Krills coming in. But Astro, Johnny on the spot there, gets the save, and they're having goal line stands left and right. Man, the Hartford goal at Soka is under duress.
Yep, that it is, but they have a huge opportunity there after that miss, but Krill is able to come in extraordinarily clutch for New England, and now a big opportunity will find the back of the net for New England Tech.
Krill really does like these pinches, don't they? Really. Gets the pinch off of the contact there, goes over the top, and then just slams it through, posterizes poor Asher there on the goal line. Now it's a 2-goal lead with 78 seconds left here in game number 1.
Yeah, now you can see Camo Killer going to try and get in on the action as they get a nice touch, but they can't get it to go. Spy, the absolute savior, coming out for Hartford.
Well, with 60 seconds here almost left on the clock, we're going to look and see if they can at least get a consolation goal. The reverse of your fortune starts right now. You can get a goal here at least and make New England Tech kind of work for their dinner here. They really haven't been put under that much pressure here in game number 1. More possession going in favor of New England Tech right now. So the Tigers definitely looking forward. Loose ball in the front. Nobody on the end of it. Those rotations, once again, they're just chasing the ball. They're not anticipating where the ball is going to go.
And, you know, I feel like Hartford is being awfully polite right now. You know, they're just casually taking shots on target where they need to bring a little bit more power, a little bit more aggression, and be a little bit more threatening on the offense. Also, they can do with a little bit more passing as well. It's like they take turns one at a time for shots instead of trying to come together and make just one solid effort and one solid play.
Yeah, it's like 3 individuals instead of 1 team.
Correct.
I think that's really what we're seeing here. But there's a consolation goal with 3 seconds left, so hold your horses. Depending on how this kickoff goes, we could be going into an overtime situation. And there's the counter-strike that we've been waiting for the past 4 minutes and 57 seconds.
Yeah, well, now 3 seconds left to go. Let's see if they can make a miracle happen as the kickoff is underway. This one are going to go over towards the Hartford half. As a missed touch from SMGs, we'll put this one down into the dirt, and it will be New England Tech Tigers to take game 1.
Well, 1 goal lead, or 1 goal game win there for them. And I tell you what, you know, we saw the counter-strike work there at the very end. But, I mean, that's the kind of intent that you need to have to your game right now. Like you said, I think you're right. I think they're just being very polite, almost Canadian like me, very, very accommodating there on the pitch. And, you know, at points they looked very 6s and 7s at the back, didn't they? Really? They just looked like they were in a bit of a scrumble in the back. So I think communication, I think rotations need to be cleaned up there. Like you said, stop being so nice. Go into these challenges full-hearted, full throttle, and get yourself back into this series. It was only a 1-goal victory there in game number 1 for New England Tech. So I think for the University of Hartford, you know, upping the tempo could work in their favor. Upping the physicality, that's what I really want to see coming out for them.
Oh, absolutely. And if anybody knows that, you know, that's my favorite thing is seeing the bump plays and the demo plays and, you know, watching opportunities being made rather than opportunities being waited on. So I really do want to see a little bit more aggression coming from Hartford as we get ready to head into game number 2 as they are not out of this yet. Remember, this is a best of 3 series, so there are still several opportunities left for Hartford to try and strike back on the series scoreline. And, you know, we really got to see what they can do. Unfortunately, in game number 1, they displayed their little offensive prowess just a little bit too late.
Well, I mean, I think that maybe, you know what, here's the real game plan from Hartford. They lulled New England Tech into a sense of false security. And they just wanted to show them at the last second. This is who we really are. And that's the way the rest of the series is going to go. Well, I say that right out the gate. Shot on goal. Saved their follow-up chops. No good there, but the demo does come through, so they're in a certain power play situation right now, looking forward. But the defense holds there for New England Tech.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure how either. That was so quick, off the rip, off the kickoff, and shots already being put on target by Hartford, but somehow the defense from Tech were able to recover just as quickly and keep this ball out of their net, and now they're going to begin the counterattack.
Oh, man, demo coming through right away. So, I mean, we're starting to get that physicality already up here in game number 2. We're starting to see it come out from Hartford as well. Oh, traffic in front of the goal. How did that not go in the back of the net? The demo and the shot. I guess somebody was there on the end of it. And, well, this offensive pressure is still not being dealt with by New England. This is a completely different team that we're seeing out here from Hartford Red.
Oh, definitely so far. And that was actually Roach that got involved to get that save. We didn't see him because of the smoke screen, but they were there and lurking and were able to keep that ball out of their net. But meanwhile, Hartford has been hitting the passes non-stop. And unfortunately for New England Tech, they have been forced to play defense for the majority here of game number 2 and have yet to break out of their own half to get any of their offense going.
Well, I mean, and the midfield touches are starting to become a lot more clean and a lot more, once again, intentional. We're seeing them go into these 50 challenges. We're seeing them approach the ball. Rather than being scared if they're going to get have a shot put on them from behind, if they happen to go in and miss the engagement, we're seeing them just go in and, you know what, they're going to let the dice fly here. And that's exactly the mindset you got to have playing Rocket League.
Well, here we go. This one's going to go back out towards the side. Meanwhile, the touch will come from New England Tech to finally put this one into Hartford territory. But the rebuttal at the midfield coming from Spy will get this one to go. And now Hartford will lead 1-0.
What a cut out there from Astro to set up Spy. And Spy just sneaks in front there of Krills and gets the full joy on the end of it. They got a goal. They got a lead. And it's almost 2 minutes off the clock before our first goal.
Yep, that it is. And now we're right back in the midfield again. This touch going to go the way of Spy. who's going to go off the side now, looking to get a touch in the follow-up, but unfortunately can't get it to go. As now Krill does have a turn, has a little bit to work with on the ceiling, is able to get the pass down, but Spy, not just good on the offensive side, they can play defense too.
I mean, we saw that happen in game number 1. Spy was a full pitch player, and well, I mean, you're looking for a steal off the chassis there, but no joy. Nice rotation back there for Hartford. And Wavy coming up with the goods there on the goal line, going into that challenge exactly the way that you need to. And what a pass going forward.
Oh yeah, I'm sensing a lot more mobility here in game number 2. In game number 1, everything was a little bit more rigid. It was pretty straightforward, nice little quick passes. Now we're seeing a little bit more groove coming from both sides. Again, you're looking at the New England Tech Tigers, and they're bringing a little bit more slow, methodical play, whereas the University of Hartford, they're finally starting to pick up that aggression that we didn't see in game 1, and now Camo Killa will ring one off the sidebar.
Ugh, that's unlucky. I mean, that was a great setup. That was a great counterattack. They got behind the defense. They had the open net and just wasn't able to get the nose of the frame on to the correct angle. But that's a great shot coming in. And Krill from the corner with a beautiful shot, far post. That'll knot us up.
Well, there you go. And then again, Roach getting in on that one in order to get the pass off the side. And then off the second attempt, Krill able to find the back of the net. And just like that, Chef Billy, we have ourselves a tie ball game.
Absolutely, sir. I mean, this is what I love to see. I love to see the clapback. I love to see the tempo increase. So that's going to be a shot of goal. That's going to be a goal off the rip. The touch was beautiful. And I mean, just found it off the wall there. Straight laced going into the goal. I tell you what, that's exactly what you like to see coming out as a response to the goal that was just gained by New England Tech. They're up by 1 once again.
Yeah, no one saw that touch coming, especially New England Tech, as now Hartford will enjoy a 1-goal lead, but still plenty of time left to go as the midfield pass will find its way back over to Spy, who takes control. Not a lot of boost to work with, goes for the flick, finds the midfield, and now the counterattack is underway from New England.
That was almost a goal. That was almost a goal as well. What a ball going across the face of goal. Just could not get the last second touch there, finishing. Starting to be a little bit of an issue here for New England Tech as we are crossing into the 72nd left mark. And I mean, look, the touches. Look at the pressure coming in. They're finding each other. These passes are starting to find each other like a magnet.
Oh, absolutely. Now you can see the pass again will connect off the sidebar, and the follow-up from Astro will find the back of the net, giving Hartford now a 2-goal cushion.
That's absolutely filthy, and you'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. This is exactly what we need to say from them. And I tell you what, Hartford really showing some heart here. After having a really difficult game number 1, maybe they just needed to warm up a little bit more. Maybe they needed to have the game time adrenaline flowing through their veins, because this is a 180 from what we saw in game number 1. They have come out with fire in their eyes.
Yep, that they have. Meanwhile, the rebuttal coming from Krill is going to give them a little much-needed momentum here in the late game as they find their second goal here in Game 2.
Well, I mean, you know what? This is going to be back and forth, my friend. We've still got 43 seconds. I think we got another 2 goals left in us here in regulation. That just is going to speak to how well these two teams are playing. The rotations have come very clean. The tempo has been upped by Hartford, and now we're seeing New England Tech being able to match that tempo. What a touch! What a shot! What a save!
Yeah, that one was a tough one to time. Meanwhile, you do have Rurge going out towards the side. Just over 20 seconds left to go for New England to try and equalize. Meanwhile, you have Hartford trying to get this ball out of their own half in order to try and run this clock, but the deflection will send this one back over towards the side, and now another attempt coming in what could be the last from New England Tech. Another deflection back out to the corner, and now Rurge looking for the pass, and it gets denied by Astro, and that should just about do it. Hartford will take Game 2.
That was absolutely fantastic coming from them there. And I mean, what a great answer to going down in game number 1. Kind of, lackluster performance from Hartford Red. Game number 1. Game number 2, the non-sponsored brand gamer liquid might be coursing through their veins. They may also have had that adrenaline jolt coming through to them. I can speak English, I promise you I can, because, well, they really turned it around there, and this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see these two powerhouses slugging it out. Remember, 2-2 for New England Tech, 2-3 on the season here for University of Hartford. One team is going to be in the positive, one team is going to be in the negative after today.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the way it goes. You got to have at least one winner and one loser. Then so saith the rules of Rocket League. But we are still very much early on into this series. Only 2 games down and quite possibly 3 more left to go in this best of 5. So whoever is going to take this next game is going to get a huge boost of morale. As you can see, game number 3 is already underway.
+2 to morale right now for University of Hartford. Roll for initiative while you're at it, because, man, they really have turned on the afterburners. They've really put their heart into this second game. And now game number 3, it's a clean slate. It's basically a complicated 1-2 now. And we're going to see who's going to be able to stand out, who's going to be able to tilt the pendulum in their favor, Hartford or New England Tech. And right now, Hartford really continuing on what we saw from game number 2 out of them.
Well, here we go. You can see possession now in the favor of Hartford as they find themselves into New England territory, as this one will kind of list out into the corner. Now Spy trying to do some 1v1 mechanics, can't get it to go, and it looks like we're headed back towards the midfield as finally New England Tech able to get out of their own half, but let's see if they can get the job done on offense, as this one will go above the backboard. The follow-up from Krill is good.
The demo sets this up at SoCa. I mean, watch this. There's a contact. There's a demo right there on the third man on the line. Leaves the open net. And Krill, unerring, finds the near post. 1-0, 57 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, and again, just a very quick goal here for New England Tech as they get some much-needed momentum back into their favor after that initial loss there in Game 2. And now they look to try and ride this momentum to a win here in Game 3. Meanwhile, the offense already underway from Hartford.
Well, we're going to see if they can take this aerial battle. They've really been winning a lot of these aerial battles going, from about the midpoint of game number 1. And have really turned it here in game number 2. Scary ball, scary situation for New England Tech, but the defense is there. The touch going over the top, the waterfall has to be pushed aside from SM Jesus. Really haven't called this gamer's name here since game number 1. Shot on goal, the bounce shot in from Astro. Beautiful sequence of events.
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes you don't have to send a screamer into the back of the net at like 80, 90 miles an hour. Sometimes you just got to get a nice tap to put that one down and in, and that's what we got from Astro and Wavy, who was able to find the pass out of the corner to get that one to go, and now once again we have a tie ball game.
Well, and you know what? The equalizer did not come with 3 seconds to go. So this is going to be a lot more of a stress test here for New England Tech. They really rode the coattails of that 1-goal lead, and what a shot! Oh my word, Astro just buries it in. You know, the first shot that they had here in game number 3 was a little bounce shot, finesse shot. This one had venom on it. It was 30 miles an hour, so not as fast as I thought it was, but still, the placement was perfect.
Well, you got to keep in mind, that speed came off of the defender's car, so the initial shot was probably a lot faster, and then it slowed down after it hit a defender. So, yeah, who knows what that speed must have been at. Clearly, it was just too much for the defender to react to. Meanwhile, the counterattack from New England Tech does get deflected, but they're not giving up just yet.
Well, Spy, once again, has been playing an all-pitch game here, defensively, offensively. Nice rotation there, coming in from Wavy to deny the shot on the goal, and really a nice outlet pass going across the field, looking for a teammate. The shot on goal, the saves! Good Lord, that was like a pinball machine, and the ball just could not find the back of the net.
Oh, absolutely not. Again, New England Tech just having to hold on to defense just to make sure that they don't go down any further, as another shot does go on, but Spy will make sure that one does not go in. And New England Tech continue to struggle to find this equalizer as they simply can't get these shots to go.
Well, I mean, we're just over the halfway point here, game number 3, Captain Ahsoka, and both these teams really laying it out on the line. But, I mean, the reinvigoration of Hartford here from game 2 down into game 3, it feels like the momentum might be on their side. That was an important touch coming out of Krill.
Oh, it most certainly was, and now you can see the touch once again going back towards that midfield line as a huge clear goes all the way downfield. But it is just a wee bit high, and it's an easy recovery from Hartford, as now they will take an attempt to try and get a shot on.
I spy with my little eyes an orange spy. I've been waiting for that one. Yeah, I mean, Spy has really been pushing forward here in the last probably 45 seconds. Really doing a lot of work on the goal line and being able to distribute out to their teammates. But now pressure coming in. Nice little touch there coming out from Astro to deny the shot in.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, right now, Hartford really are not in panic mode. Like, normally when you see a team that is only leading by 1, they usually are a little more hesitant, but they should be really cautious now, as it will be New England Tech to tie this game right back up at 2 goals apiece.
Physicality rears its head again, and you love to see that. You love to see the dedication and the commitment to being a physical force and really making the life hell for that goalminder there in front of the net. I always used to hate having people in front of me, the traffic we used to call it, being pushed in. What a turnaround here. Krill just goes in strong, almost like a post-up play from a center in the NBA, just says, I'm going to stuff through you. And there you go. There is the go-ahead goal. 61 seconds left here in game number 3. The winner of this game is going to go up onto series point.
Oh, that they are. Just 1 minute left to go here in regulation, and now already off the kickoff, a tactical whiff from New England will put this one in the back of the net, as they now have themselves a 2-goal cushion.
I mean, that's just the touch. That's just the touch. And I mean, unfortunate there from Wadeys. Gets the touch off of their chassis there, and the ball rolls in. So now you've got 2-goal lead here, the scariest lead here in Rocket League. We all know that the 2-goal lead is just almost impossible to hold on to. We'll see what Hartford got up their sleeves here. They're going to need at least 1 here to give them some kind of fighting chance. Go to game number 2. Well, there's 1. Let's see, 12 seconds after the previous goal. So 40 seconds to get themselves now back square. Game number 3, man, this is going to turn out to be one of those barn burners that we were not anticipating, Captain.
That's why you can't really nap too long on that 2-goal cushion. It's very comfortable, but it can go away very quickly. And already you can see New England Tech are now only leading by 1. And hold the phone, they nearly got another, but the reaction from Astro will get the save to clear it away.
I mean, the pre-jump was perfect out of Astro. Just, I think they sniffed that one out. The prognostication was there out of Astro, looking into their crystal ball. Now, 17 seconds left here. They need to get themselves back square here. Otherwise, they're going to be facing match point in the next 2 games at least. So, it's 5 seconds left here. Just a little bit of keep away there. Big defensive line there on the line. Coming from them. Little touch, no! It will be a 1-goal victory once again here for New England Tech. The Tigers withstanding the last-second charge coming out from Hartford Red at Soka. Like I said, man, this is turning into be one of those series that is going to have you on the edge of your seat until it's done.
Yeah, well, right now I can only imagine that Hartford is on the edge of their seat, because right now the Tigers are on. They are in fact on match point. Yep. So if they win 1 more, that means they are going to take the series. And now, as we get ready to head into Game 4, Hartford is going to have to find a way to answer back, especially off of the quality of shots that was coming from the side of the Tigers. You know, I didn't feel like they were really racking up the shot count. Their offense was great, but I felt like it was more of the quality of the shot. The more of the bump and demo plays we saw coming from New England really found the back of the net several times. So now Hartford is going to have to try and make some changes on their offensive side if they're going to want to try and tie up the series.
What a cut! What a cut! I mean, Roach there with the perfect set, and yeah, that was just a wayward touch there out of Wadeys. But the knife going near post on that angle is damn near impossible, Captain, and they made it look just like any run-of-the-mill shot.
Oh, that they did, and now you can see New England Tech once again will take an early 1-goal lead, and the last time they did that, unfortunately in Game 3, they took it all the way to a win. So now Hartford really need to equalize very quickly in order to not lose too much momentum here in Game 4.
Well, we saw a lot more reactionary play coming out from University of Hartford there. The times that they were proactive on the ball were the opportunities that we saw them get goals, get really high-quality scoring opportunities. So I think they need to stop reacting and start being proactive with their touches, with their rotations. I think they need to up the physicality once again.
Well, let's see if they can get the job done. As you can see, the ball will head back and toward the corner of Hartford. 50-50 out again, and only to be met by Camo Killer. But this 50 will get sent a jettison all the way into New England territory as Krill has to come up with a huge touch and dribble just to get it out of their half.
I mean, Krill has been the superstar here for this New England Tech squad. And I think that their supporting cast has really played their role to a T here. I think for University of Hartford, wow, what a shot once again, Camo Killer. Right place, right time. And, well, yeah, that's a beautiful touch there from Krill. One more pop-up, pulls the resources out of Spy, and Camo Killer there on the end of it to put the joy home near post. Spy for this University of Hartford team in conjunction with Astro. Those are the two playmakers for them. We haven't seen a lot come out from Wavy other than, you know, some questionable touches here and there from them. So I think that if they're going to turn this around, I think Wavy has to be the one that they look to make a positive impact here, either with a good touch or a good demo or something positive to bring them back into this series.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can get it done. Meanwhile, New England Tech once again find themselves with that 2-goal cushion, but we saw earlier how quickly that cushion can be taken away. Roach will be able to get a 50-50 out, and now a back pass over to Krill will find its mark as they 50 out back towards the corner, and now will be slowed down by Hartford. And then they are able to put this one back over towards the midfield. Roach is there again to get the touch. But now Hartford with a huge opportunity. This one falls in front of the goal, but it rings off the post.
Oh my word, that was their opportunity to pull themselves back into this entire series, and they just get denied by the fourth man there for New England Tech. The woodwork keeping the ball out as we approach halftime. A little bit of desperation is going to have to come into their squad right now. They need to have really the impetus moving forward. They've got to have this urge, this drive to go forward. The shot denied once again by Wavy. That's a beautiful save.
Oh, it most definitely was, and that's why it shows that defensive positioning is so important. That's why you have got to play your near and far posts. They were waiting there in the corner, and honestly, what was considered great shot placement going for that lower 90 was thwarted just by simple good defensive positioning coming from Hartford.
Well, we need to see these connecting passes. I mean, game number 2 was the breakout game. Therefore, Hartford, their passes were starting to really get lined up and really putting the pressure onto New England Tech, and that's why they won game number 2. Now, you know, in game number 3 and 4, we haven't seen the same precision and intent behind these passes. More like they're expecting them to find their teammate rather than looking for their teammate. So we'll need to see them clean that up. A minute 40 left here on the clock.
And New England Tech now going to be operating inside of the opposition as they try and get a 50 to go, but can't find the back of the net. Now off the backboard. It will be going back towards the side, and the follow-up from Roach will find the back of the net, and now New England Tech will go up by 3.
Biggest lead of the entire series here. What a shot. I mean, they went into that 50 fully committed, and they got the joy on the end of it. That's the first goal that we've seen from Roach today. And what a dagger with just less than 90 seconds to go here in game number 4. Answers have to be given here by Hartford right now. They need to ace this next 90 seconds.
Well, let's see if they can get the job done. As you can see, they do have an opportunity here on the offensive side. That clear does come out from New England. Back to the midfield, Camo Killer with a nice touch there. Order to get the redirect back into the corner. Camo again doesn't get the ball, but they get a nice demo. As somewhat of a party favor as the ball now finds its way back into New England's territory.
I mean, that right there was a little bit of a microcosm of what's been going wrong for University of Hartford. Instead of going into that challenge full tilt, tried to get a little bit more of a finesse touch on the ball and ends up being dispossessed. So, you know what? 45 seconds here. Still time for Hartford, but the time is starting to tick away against them.
And that it is, and now you can see Wavy looking to find a touch here. Keep in mind, 30 seconds left to go. They're going to have to score at least 1 goal every 10 seconds from here on out as time continues to tick away. And once again, New England Tech are putting up a fight at that midfield line.
Yep, it's all been about midfield control right now for New England Tech, and that's why we see this score line right now. Roach has been just a stalwart defensively on that line. We've talked about Camo Killer. We talked about SM Jesus, but Roach really has been one of the better players here for them. Krill has been the standout offensively, goals in every single game, and there's the second one. Well, It doesn't go through, but I mean, just another second on the clock and it would have been another goal, so I'm going to go ahead and give it to them. But I tell you what, New England Tech here have absolutely turned it up, and they take the series 3-1 on the back of some really impressive defensive plays. They withstood the pressure coming in from University of Hartford, but the big story of the day was the midfield control coming out from them.
Yeah, not only that, but what really impressed me was the ability of New England Tech to make those adjustments and reactions off of their loss there in Game 2, and then make the corrections that they observed themselves making, and which really led to their loss. And that really is what separates the weak from the chaff, and the better and the best is to be able to acknowledge your faults and then correct them. They were able to really react and adapt to the play style that was coming out from Hartford, and then come through with a successful attack in Games 3 and 4. So a huge GG's to New England Tech as they come out with a 4-1 win. And now, with that being done and dealt with, we are going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we will have more Rocket League for you right here on the NECC.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm your newscaster here, Chef Billy. Captain NECC is actually busy playing Diablo as we speak. So
now that's a bit of rubbish. That is a bit of rubbish. I'm not actually playing Diablo. I'm actually in the queue. I'm just standing in queue. All right. I see. I'm not actually playing the game, isn't it? I'm here with you on the desk. Yeah. All right.
Right. So, anyways, getting back to the seriousness, we do have a forfeit situation here. Unfortunately, we will see SIUE take the forfeit win over Redbirds White. And we will be closing down the B stream here for the evening. Want to thank everybody here for watching and waiting and having patience with us. We do love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you next week here on B stream for Rocket League action. For myself, Captain NECC, Grissom, Lottie, and Storm Warrior back in the background. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week, friends. Bye.